Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dragons and Spaceships, the podcast where we explore the stories that stay with us, whether they take place across distant worlds or deep within the shadows of our own. I'm your host, Brandy, and today's book is one I didn't originally plan to cover, but suddenly it's everywhere. Because today we are talking about The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And yes, this book got a major pop culture boost after Taylor Swift was spotted listening to the audiobook in her Disney Plus docuseries, Taylor Swift: The End of an Era. So if you've seen this title flooding book talk, bestseller lists, and bookstore tables, that's probably why. But hype aside, this is a deeply atmospheric literary mystery that absolutely earns its reputation. Before we dive into today's episode, though, here's a trending book that everyone seems to be talking about right now. The Secret Lives of Murderers' Lives by Elizabeth Arnott has been selected as a Good Morning America book club pick, which means it's getting a huge spotlight and a lot of new readers. Set in 1960s California, the novel follows three women whose ex-husbands were convicted serial killers. As they try to rebuild their lives, a new string of murders begin, and they realize they may be uniquely qualified to identify the person responsible. Part historical drama, part mystery thriller, and part story about friendship and survival, the book flips the usual true crime perspective by focusing on the women left behind instead of the killers themselves. So if you love twisty mysteries, strong female leads, or book club reads that spark serious discussion, this is definitely worth adding to your list. And now let's get into today's main story. At its core, The God of the Woods is a story about disappearance, about family secrets, and about the way the past refuses to stay buried, especially in a place that remembers everything. The novel is set in the Adirondack Mountains at an elite summer camp owned by the wealthy and powerful Van Laar family. When a teenage girl named Barbara Van Laar vanishes from the camp in 1975, panic spreads quickly, because this isn't the first time tragedy has struck this family. Years earlier, Barbara's younger brother disappeared in the same wilderness and was never found. Now, history appears to be repeating itself. And as investigators begin searching the woods, it becomes clear that something is very wrong, not just out there in the forest, but inside the family itself. What makes this book especially gripping is the structure. Instead of one straightforward narrative, the story moves across timelines and perspectives, counselors, investigators, locals, and members of the Van Laar family. Each viewpoint adds another piece to the puzzle, and each revelation makes the situation feel darker, not clearer, because everyone seems to know something, and no one is telling the whole truth. This isn't a fast, twisty, heavy thriller. It's quieter, colder, more unsettling, and the Adirondack wilderness feels almost alive, vast, isolating, and deeply indifferent to human suffering. There are rumors of the dangers in the woods, whispers of something watching, and a constant sense that once the forest takes something, it may never give it back. Beyond the central disappearance, the novel explores powerful themes: class and privilege, family loyalty versus truth, generational trauma, and the illusion of control. The Van Laar family has spent decades shaping their public image. But when cracks begin to form, everything they've buried starts pushing to the surface. And the deeper the investigation goes, the clearer it becomes that the greatest danger may not be the wilderness at all. What makes The God of the Woods so memorable isn't just the mystery. It's the emotional weight behind it. This is a story about the damage secrets do, especially to children, about the grief that never fully heals, and about the cost of protecting power at the expense of truth. It asks a haunting question. What if the most dangerous thing in the forest isn't something supernatural? What if it's the people who built the world around you? If you love slow burn literary mysteries, if atmosphere matters as much to you as the plot, or if you want a story that lingers long after you finish it, The God of the Woods absolutely delivers. And if Taylor Swift led you here, honestly, that's a pretty great reading recommendation, and we love Taylor. But now it's time for the Dragon's Roar, where we talk about exciting news and announcements. Author Nina Kumar just revealed that she has a brand new project on the way. Her upcoming book, Diamond of the Rebellion, is currently slated for summer 2027. And while details are still under wraps, the title alone suggests something bold, dramatic, and possibly very different from her previous work. But that's not all. She also shared that she's writing another romance novel with a wildly unique premise. The story follows a woman who gets ghosted after matching with a literal dead man on a dating app. Yes, ghosted by a ghost. It sounds equal parts dark, funny, and completely original, exactly the kind of concept that makes you stop and say, okay, I need to know how that works. So, if you enjoy romance with unusual twists, supernatural elements, or stories that don't follow the typical formula, Nina Kumar is definitely an author to keep on your radar. And that's it for this week's Dragons Bro. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me on Dragons and Spaceships. If you've read God of the Woods, I'd love to know. Did the mystery pull you in, or was it the atmosphere that stayed with you most? And if Taylor Swift convinced you to pick this one up, you're definitely not alone. Until next time, happy reading, stay curious, and may your TBR pile never stop growing.